Hi there everybody, it's Rhoda here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me again today for another card making tutorial, and this time we're going to do a bit of an autumnal themed card using Cottage Wreaths. I've done a couple of Christmas cards with this. I haven't done anything along that autumnal feel. So this is the sample card. So this one I did intend to put out around Halloween time, so I did add the little spider on there and everything, but this is our footprint for what we're going to create today using the stamps and the dies there to create lots of colour and texture that we get with autumn. So and of course we'll just switch up the colours a little bit. The stamps and die sets, I love this set and I've used it a few times with you guys in different ways, so lots and lots of flexibility with this and lots of cute dies to coordinate. Alright, so we'll put those to one side and we'll get on with the making. So I've got some bits already cut and scored and things. So the card base is just a plain white card base, cut and scored in the usual fashion. The layer I'm using is 4 by 5 3/4, so it's a full card layer. It was a little bit small on the sample, and the mini layers here are an inch shorter and narrower, so that's 3 by 4 3/4, and then this is early espresso, which is 3 1/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, so those are the layers, and then I've just got a bit of scrap here just to stamp the wreath and stuff on. Okay, just popping that to one side. So I think what we'll do is we'll get the wreath stamped and die cut. So as we did on the original, I'm going to pop in the there's sort of like 2 stamps that go that form the wreath, or you can use two stamps, and this is the one with like the twigs, the sort of branches, so that's going to go down with early espresso. Just pop that towards the top there, because the other stamp will layer over the top and we die cut them together. Okay, so that's nice and easy. We don't need that ink pad again, to pop that to one side, and then we're going to stamp over the top with the leaves in that set. Okay, and this is actually Mango Melody. The original sample used pumpkin pie, sort of a bright orange, and this one's more of a yellow orange. So we're going to pop that over the top, and it doesn't really matter if it doesn't line up per se, but what I want to do is just not have too many bits sticking out. Let's just go with about there, and say it doesn't line up in the usual sense. Okay, it's just some firm pressure. So this is just more of a yellow orange compared to the pumpkin pie. Okay, so it's just a bit brighter. Just thought it'd be nice to show you a different colour on there, and if you wanted to, you could also, you could stamp this again and rotate it around a bit in different colours, so you could layer it up that way as well. So that's pumpkin pie, sorry, Mango Melody, beg your pardon. I was looking at my sample card and working out whether I needed it again. Okay, so the stamp itself in the case has an indication of which way up it goes. So I tend to put the arrow to the bottom, so that's how I've mounted it on the block. Same with this one. Okay, so it lines up with the coordinating die, and there's a little arrow on the die as well. Okay, so I know I've positioned that towards the bottom, so I know that I can line that up pretty quickly with the image I have stamped, and I'm just focusing on the Mango Melody. That's the coordinating die for that, and exactly the same for the other one, the sort of twiggy bit. So if you just wanted to do the twigs and then build up your wreath with die cut leaves, you could do that too. So that's that. And then the other thing we will need to die cut is a bow and some acorns. Probably should have done the acorns ahead of time actually, because I need 3 of those. Won't take long to do though. So this is soft suede that we're using here, and this stamp has been created to combine a distinctive element, so we get that sort of shading within the little acorns there. That's soft suede, and then we're going to stamp the bow. So if I was doing Christmas, I'd have done that in like a red or something, but this time around we're going to use green, and this is Old Olive. Okay, now I'm just going to pull in another piece of scrap here. So I just want to show you, if I ink up this and stamp it, that one will not come out too bad, but this, it sometimes comes out a bit splotchy if you've got a really inky ink pad. So what I find is that you often get a better result when you use less ink with these. And the way I do that is by using one of these sponge dauber things. Okay, so this is my Old Olive sponge dauber. So I'm just going to use the dauber on the ink pad and just apply that to the stamp. Which means it'll sit on there a little on top of the image rather than sinking down into those details. So just some light tapping over there, and we'll get, I think, a much better image. Let's just try once more with just a bit more ink and just see which one we like the best. If you're having, you know, issues trying to get your distinctive stamps to look nice, just try that. So that one's got a bit more ink, but it's a bit more speckly. I like this one. Okay, so obviously the more ink you apply, the more ink's going to go into all those little nooks and crannies. So we're going to go with that one, I think, and tape that coordinating die down as well. So I want to try and do as little die cutting as possible. It isn't the most interesting thing to watch, but obviously if you've never seen it before, then it might be something that you're interested in. So we're just popping those dies on. So a little die, these are got green ink on me. That green ink always ends up on me. See the raised edge there? That's the thing that will cut through the paper, and it just does it just through pressure. So if I press on this, it's not gonna. I haven't got enough pressure in my hands or anything to cut me, but the pressure that's applied through the rollers of a die cut machine is enough to cut through the cardstock, which is like, I don't know who thought of that, Mr. Die Cut or Madam Die Cut, but it's a really interesting process. These dies all fit through the mini stamping cutting boss, so we'll just bring our little guy in and grab our cutting plates, which I just have up on this shelf here. So we need the base plate there, the number 1 plate, and then I have a very well used bottom cutting plate there. So we'll pop that on there. Have I got room for that bow at the bottom? Probably have. Doesn't matter if it overhangs a little bit. Just take that off. So I can get those both cut at the same time, and then we just need to do a couple of additional run throughs with those acorns because I need 3 of those. So we're just going to wind that through, just having to hold it down quite firmly because the mat I'm working on isn't as solid as a a tabletop or whatever. Okay, so that's just fallen out, and I think it's only the tape that's leaving those in place. Okay, so we're just going to pop those off. And the pressure, look, that's just the pressure of that has made that stick to the plate. Okay, so there's our little acorn in there. Don't need a little teeny die. So I'm just going to peel away that, and we'll have that little tiny thing. So we'll just have to just do that a couple more times. Okay, let's pop him out the way just for a second. And replace this over the top. It's dead easy, just line up your image with the aperture that's in the metal there. Sandwich it between the 2 clear plates like that and run it through. See, it's only little, it only has to go. You only have to wind it through as far as the image. You don't have to send it all the way through to the back. And then come back again. So eventually this washi tape will sort of peel, disintegrate as you use it and use it and use it. So this piece has probably done its duty. After this, I'll chuck it out, but you can just keep reusing it until, like I say, it gives up. Okay, it's just that last one, just quickly through, and that's done. Okay, that was just a scrap of cardstock. Don't throw away your die. Pop that over there. Little teeny tiny acorns. Aren't they cute? Okay, so that's for the bin. Just pop these away, and then of course this guy just folds away nice and compact for travel and storage if you've only got a small craft space. And I do have a dedicated space, which means I can just pop things, don't have to squirrel things away, if you know what I mean. So fortunate in that regard. Also means if I'm crafting late or something, there's no pressure to clear up, although I do try and keep clear up as I go along. Okay then, so we've got our die cut elements ready to go there. We just need to do a bit of stamping on this panel and on our background layer. So I'm going to bring in a mat just to cover the surface here, just to keep that protected. So we'll do this one first because we won't be stamping off on this one. So the idea with this layer is to just drop some additional leaves in the background here and around. I'm actually going to use crumb cake for that. So a bit more of a subtle colour. So we've got these additional little sort of oak leaves that we can dot around. So I'm just popping that in just to give me an idea of where I want them really. So I just want them to sort of peek out from behind that die cut. So I'm just twisting that into different directions as well. Oops, don't rock your blocks. That's when you end up with things where they shouldn't be. Might even drop a couple sort of more into the centre as well. Didn't do that on the original, but that's fine. Okay, so it just gives a suggestion that there's something else behind there, just to fill up the that card. So that's bits done, and then on the base layer we're also going to use that just to pop some interest in on there. So I'm just going to pop a few Again, just twisting the block around and using different parts of the stamp. This way. Not so much the stalks, maybe. And then we'll fill in a little bit with the old olive. Could bring in the mango as well, actually. Should we do that? Just because. So this is old olive, so we'll just pop a few of those in as well. So this is just to add some interest to the layer. And this mat will just protect my work surface a little bit. Maybe pop one in there. Let's bring in some mango just because we can. I did put it away. Oops. Just going to wipe off that stamp so I don't contaminate the ink pad with other colours. So it doesn't matter if these overlap. Ooh. And didn't stamp that one very well, so we'll just pop another one in there. That's just sort of spinning around in the wind, aren't they? Okay. A bit more of the orange down the bottom. Okay, that's fine. Don't overdo it. And that's it. We just need to, and it's just wiped clean. You can just use I'm just going to use some paper towel just to wipe off that little bit. But if you've got a lot on there, you can just, it's water obviously resistant, so you can just give it a bit of a spritz with some water as well. So we'll pop that onto our card base. Just line up the 3 edges, and then that will sort itself out. Good sharp crease on the fold so it stands up. And then we've got our little early espresso layers here that we can put together in exactly the same way. Line up the bottom there. So it's going to go there, and hopefully that's straight. When you've got stamping in the background, sometimes it's harder to visualise where the I'm going to use the larger ones for this because you can. It's just easier. You don't need as many. You only need like 3. Probably get away with less. Just one either side, but 3 just gives it a bit of stability. So we can pop that on. And you can sort of rotate that around and see where you like it. Like so. And then we just need I'm going to use minis on the back of this. Just to pop that on. Give it a bit of flex and shape if you want. So I'm just going to pop mine centrally at the bottom there. Okay, and then we've got these little teeny dudes and a mini dimensional just about fits onto the back of these. I'm just going to grab my pokey tool to help me with that. Just going to take those off, and it just gives, you know, your fingers aren't in the way, so because you're dealing with something so small. Okay, just make sure they're not overhanging the image at all, so that'll be fine. popping those dimensionals back straight in the bin, because they do have a habit of wandering about all over the place, stuck to the cats and things. So I think I'm going to go with sort of a pair and a single, just to sort of put that on. Because I had the spider on this one, I put the cluster of 3 and then balanced it out with the spider over there, but we'll stick with those. So they're sort of there, but hidden away a little. And then I'm just going to pop some Wink of Stella on those, just for a bit of shimmer. Probably should have done those before I put it on, to be honest, but there we go. And we'll put some on the bow as well, as we've got it out. Just gonna press that down a little. Okay, so I've deliberately not put a sentiment on that, just so that you could send it for whatever reason you need to, whether it's an autumnal birthday or you just want to, obviously the American Thanksgiving is coming up, so if you're over that side of the pond, you may want to add something for that. There is a grateful sentiment in there. So there we go, that's just slightly different colours on there. I think Pear Pizzazz was the colour I used on this bow. And like I say, Pumpkin Pie. And then this one uses Old Olive and Mango Melody. So different look with the same layout. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that. Gives you another idea of how to use that lovely stamp bundle. Obviously the links are always in the description, so do pop along there if you want to have a look at any of the products in the online store. And you can also make purchases there if you're in the UK. Thanks so much for joining me. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.